Hello everyone, my name is Nina. I'm 15 years old, and this year, I went to school. Until now, I've been homeschooled. They warned me that school was like a jungle and only the strong survive. One day was enough to convince me that that was true. That day was a living hell. It was difficult to set foot in a school for the first time. I kept repeating to myself, "Don't slouch, Nina. Face forward, don't be shy, be friendly." I was wearing new pants and a shirt that I really liked. Mom helped me do my hair that morning. They will definitely like me, I thought. I really wanted to make friends. But then I heard a chuckling behind me, and on every face, I saw curiosity and condemnation. Well, some were openly pointing a finger at me and laughing. I was scared and didn't know how to act. Then I stumbled over something. It was a dog bowl. I looked with horror at the locker next to the bowl because my name was on its door. There were photos of dogs pasted on the locker, flea medicine was lying nearby, and there was a collar with the name Nina on the tag. I didn't understand why they were being so mean to me. After all, I hadn't done anything wrong to anyone. But the other students surrounded me and began to whistle. In tears, I ran to the bathroom. I wiped away my tears, but couldn't figure out who had told those kids everything. The principal had promised to keep my secret a secret. When I came out of the bathroom, I turned my attention to a group of people. They were like what I had seen in movies. The girls were so beautiful that I felt ridiculous compared to them. There was a guy with them. The tall guy was talking very emotionally to a blonde girl. I was able to catch parts of what was being said. He was saying that he regretted telling her about the new girl. His father had shared a secret with him, and now it would cost him. I realized that they were talking about me. The blonde winked at him. She clearly didn't feel guilty. She told him that he was just angry because he didn't get to tell everyone first. As I walked by, the girl shouted at me and asked what would happen if I heard the command fetch. I am ashamed to admit it, but I was so angry at them that I couldn't restrain myself and grabbed her by the hair. Everyone was screaming. Someone was trying to pull me off of her, and when his hand was next to my face, I bit it. At that moment, I realized that I was acting like an animal. To make matters worse, someone got it on video. So the movie entitled "The Dog Girl Bit the School Queen," starring me, started spreading throughout the whole school. I got called to the principal's office. It's time to tell you my story. My childhood memories are very blurry. I didn't know my dad, and Mother didn't care about me at all. I used to play outside all day with our dog. It was my only friend. I didn't even know its name. Mom just called her Dog. I remember how one day the TV stopped turning on, and at night it was very cold and dark. Now I know that our electricity had been cut off for non-payment. I tried to wake my mother because I was very cold and very scared. I was crying, but she wouldn't wake up. Dog heard me crying and started whining outside. Then I went outside and climbed into its doghouse. The dog kept me warm all night, and we slept until morning. After that, I started spending every night in its doghouse. One time, I had gotten very hungry. I saw a box of cookies on the top shelf in the house, and I tried to get it by standing on a chair. I accidentally bumped the dishes. A bottle fell and shattered. Mom immediately woke up. She looked at the shards of broken glass with horror in her eyes. She started yelling at me and beating me. I ran out into the yard and hid in the doghouse. She couldn't get me and told me to stay there. I don't know how long she cared about the broken bottle, but I stayed in the doghouse anyway. I copied all of my dog's noises. I whined and barked, ate from her bowl, and walked on all fours. One time, some man was visiting my mom. He laughed at me for a long time, and then for a joke, he put a leash on me. All of this ended when one of the neighbors called the police, and my mother was deprived of her parental rights. First, I went through rehabilitation in a clinic. I learned to walk on two legs again, learned to speak, eat, and get dressed. Then I went to an orphanage, and from there to a foster family. I was lucky, and my guardians adopted me quickly. I got a real mom and dad. I'm still sad for my dog, till this day. I hope it found a new home. I had become a normal person, but I really wanted to go to school and interact with other kids. I wanted to make friends and be like everyone else. If only I had known that I would be so unhappy when my dream came true. I left the principal's office even more depressed. He blamed me for everything and threatened to expel me, but the worst was yet to come. My first class was math. When the teacher asked who wanted to go to the board, I looked him in the eye with a smile. It was my first real class. But then he called on me, and I realized that I didn't understand anything. The equation was too hard for me. I heard chuckling again. After class, the guy who had let my secret out walked up to me. His name was Eric, and he wanted to apologize. He wanted to make amends. He was very polite and attractive. Eric offered to help me with my math and smiled. I agreed. I was so gullible. He took me to a storage room. The lighting was dim, and I felt uncomfortable. But I took out a notebook and asked how we were going to study with such poor lighting. He answered and said that we wouldn't be needing any light for our studies. Then he pressed me up against the wall. I felt his breath on my neck. I didn't like it and pushed him away. He grinned and said that he had bet his friends that he could easily seduce me and that he wasn't going to lose that bet. I told him that he would never get away with it. He said that his dad had donated so much money to the school that he could get away with anything. Besides, I was just the girl from the doghouse. All he had to do now was get evidence on camera. My hands were trembling. It became hard to breathe. Yeah, I really am just the girl from the doghouse, I told myself. But I could stand up for myself. I bared my teeth and growled. I sunk my teeth into his hand. He cried out, and I heard surprised voices outside the door. Eric burst out of the storage room and ran. I ran after him. The students surrounded me again and were looking at me like a wild beast. I realized that I was on all fours. It was awful. I had come to school to become a person, but because of the cruelty of the students, once again, I had become an animal. I was hiding in the bathroom when I heard them call me to the principal's office again. He had also summoned my parents and Eric's family. The wait was terrifying. Eric showed everyone his hand with my well-imprinted teeth marks. He claimed that I had attacked him for no reason. His parents looked at me, displeased. The principal believed Eric, too. He said that I didn't belong in his school. Mom gently stroked my head and whispered that I really would be better at home. My first day at school was my last. I had to try to be like everyone else. It will never work out for me. As I struggled to hold back my tears, I took out my phone. It had been vibrating the whole time. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Eric really had recorded everything that took place in the storage room. The video was blurry, but our conversation was clearly audible. I don't know whether he had uploaded the video to the internet himself or if that blonde did it, but now Eric had problems, not me. Mom wanted to call the police and make a scene, but I asked her to settle the conflict quietly. I just wanted that day to end and for no one else to torture me. It took a lot of effort to get myself back to school the next day. I was very ashamed and scared. Eric pretended not to know me. When someone from his circle of friends tried to make a joke about me, he stopped them. He knew that my mother would report him to the police if someone picked on me again. Now, a few months have passed, and I have a friend. A real one. And I get along all right with other kids at school. Even though no one picks on me anymore, I know that Eric's friends glare at me when I pass by. I'm always afraid that he'll decide to get revenge on me. But there is one more important problem. Schoolwork is very hard for me. I don't know how long it will be before I catch up with everyone else. Even though at school I pretend that everything is fine, at night when no one is watching, I cry quietly. It's still hard for me to adapt to life in the world of normal people. Please support me with your advice. I will read every comment.